Willie D Live.
Now, how long has it been since I laid eyes on you?
Man, it's been...
I'm talking about in person.
Years.
Yeah, because I think I met you when you were like 16 or something.
Yeah, I'm 27 now.
Like that. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Wow.
And that's what I'm going to say, too. I'm just honored to even, be around you again. Houston legendary stuff. Right. So, I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited for your evolution.
Thank you.
I've been watching. I've been watching.
Yeah.
I follow you hard on
yeah,
Instagram.
You do. That's one thing you will support.
Yeah.
I love that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I thought you was gonna be a basketball player.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
I thought so too. But injuries. I think any college athlete can speak to the fact that injury really will either make you want to stay passionate about something or you'll lose your passion. And I think for me, I just lost the passion because it took so long for me to recover. And then I ended up getting dropped from the team. It was just a lot. So I went through a whole depression, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
So how did you cope?
So, it was crazy because I went to Prairie View A&M University. The coach has since reached out to me, the one who cut me, has since reached out to, try to be cool again. But, so I went there. When you're in that recruiting process, they sell you a bunch of dreams. Then you get there and it's not really what you thought. Yeah. They say things like, we're going to make you the star, this and that. Then you get there and it's kind of like you're coming off the bench. So, I redshirted for 1 year. Then when I actually did get out there, I felt like we're playing Rice. We're playing like I love HBCUs, but sometimes when it comes to the athletic programs, these other schools, they're like, the sports is their life. You know what I'm saying? So these girls was like 6'3", 300 pounds. I'm 5'9", 130. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. So the first injury that I had that really took me out was against Rice. It was a regular. I went for the layup, and she just knocked the wind out of me. The girl was huge.
You didn't get up and swing on it? You didn't channel your inner Tammy Roman?
You know what's so crazy? I knew that I was injured because I cried. And I never cried in a game of basketball because my mom would always say, we don't cry. What are you doing? This is sports. You better get up. And that was the first time I was 23, 24 where I cried. I was on the sideline. She hit me so hard, I cried. And I was like, I'm sorry. Hit you? No, the girl hit me against Rice when we played Rice. So it was Prairie View against Rice. She put me in off the bench. I'm thinking, okay, it's my time. Boom, boom, boom. I'm crossing them up. Go for the layup. She knocked the wind out of me. Yeah. And after that, it took me about 3 months to recover.
3 months?
Yeah, because I was dealing with high ankle sprains my whole high school, all that. And I feel like I never really had anybody to tend to that. Like, physical rehab is important.
Did school pay for it?
No. So this was the crazy part. This was the crazy part every time I tell this story. So it took me about 3 months to recover. And they just called me into the office one day and they say, hey, Jazz, you're recovering too slow for us, so we're going to have to let you go. Yeah, it was crazy. So I was living with the whole team. So imagine how embarrassing that was. I'm staying with the actual team and they know. I figured everybody knew except me. I kind of feel like the joke was on me. After that meeting, Jazz is about to get cut. So I had to go back and still live with the team who's waking up every day at 5 a.m., practicing 2-a-days, all that. And I'm just there. Now I'm a regular student after 2 years. It was the most heartbreaking thing I've ever honestly experienced.
So did that make you jaded toward basketball overall?
Yeah, it did.
Can you watch college basketball today?
I'm literally just now getting into it. And honestly, only because of LSU winning. Last year, I was like, oh, this is dope. Like the underdogs, black, you know what I'm saying? But other than that, no. I just didn't watch it anymore. I was over it.
See, this is why I'm all for NIL deals. Mm-hmm. I love the fact that the athletes are getting that money.
Yep.
Get that money, man. Yeah. Because these people don't care nothing about you. Yeah, they gonna sing your praises when they trying to recruit you. They want you to come over. They probably told you, man, you're gonna get all the minutes. You're gonna be out. We're gonna build a team around you and everything.
And it's such a lot. And with my dad being Kenny Anderson, I had I had Georgia Tech interested as well. Yeah. But for me, when I sat with PV, I felt like they weren't trying to mold me to be Kenny Anderson. But then when I get there, it's like, oh, you're not as strong with your left like he was. And I'm like, well, You knew that. Like, right. Let's mold this, though. Let's work on this as a freshman. That's all it takes, But no, they cut me. I think it was my junior year, end of my sophomore year, beginning of my junior year, they cut me.
So this whole thing about nepotism is only like, it can only take you so far. At some point,
yeah. It's going to have to be on you. And I do think, I was very talented in basketball, and I'm going to say that myself. And I think anybody I came from California, I was putting up points over there, so anybody who has watched me in basketball knows I was talented. But I think when you're not with a good program, they can make all the difference. Yes, it's going to make the difference. So you just have to, and I have nothing against PV. But I was in love with the game of basketball, and after that situation, I don't even think twice about it anymore. Yeah.
Now, I know how you feel about having some disdain for the old school because, for a long time, I had a major beef with my middle school. I hated them. They treated me so bad. Right. I hated them. I was like, I don't want nothing to do with them. And then they invited me to come speak. Right. And, at first I was like, man.
Yeah, of course.
Same thing with high school,
Yeah.
My beef was internal, though. I got kicked out for fighting each time. Allegedly. I was kicked out
Allegedly.
Allegedly, I was kicked out for fighting. But, I could understand having that issue with the school, like.
For sure.
So do you go back now?
No, but I think now I'm just moving around a lot. Like homecoming just passed, but I wasn't here.
Yeah, I was about to ask you about homecoming. Well, you probably literally dodged the bullet this time.
Yeah, no, I saw that. Happened, right? I read about that. Yeah. At the trail ride, yeah. Rest in peace to those people.
Yeah, wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You just mentioned your dad, Kenny Anderson. Let's talk about Kenny.
Okay.
All-star point guard, So how much pressure was it for you to live up to that standard, knowing that you had a dad that played in the NBA and everybody else knowing it? Like,
right.
And they're looking at you for those same attributes.
Yeah, in anything that I've ever done, my mom has always told me just be you and, be as authentic as you can be and the best that you can be. So I think because I didn't have him really on the sidelines or anything like that, to me, it was just, I'm going off of her words. So I'm like, okay, I need to be stronger in my left, but I'm not going to sit here and lie and say I watched his tapes. It wasn't given that.
You didn't watch your dad tapes?
No.
Now, was you mad at him?
I think, because I'm going to be honest with you, I said I would never speak on him again in an interview, but I think at 27 now, I'm not mad at him. And growing up, when you're younger, you kind of feel like, you weren't there for me, So because everybody like, you look just like your daddy. And then you play ball, similar to him. I wanted to distance myself from anything that had to do with him. I'm going to be completely honest. So, I guess that's the best way to put it. When I was out on the court, I was Jazz Anderson. It had nothing to do with Kenny.
Having that type of a strained relationship with your dad, how did that affect you overall in your life choices? I can't really put a finger on it, but I think now that I've gotten into this great thing called therapy that I used to think was taboo for a lot of Black people, but I actually, did it. It's my first year doing it. And I think what my therapist somewhat allowed me to see is that I suppressed a lot of emotions that I dealt with from him. So now that I'm older, instead of suppressing it, I'm realizing it. I'm saying, okay, I'm not mad at you anymore. I forgive you, but I can't forgive you for missing those important parts of my life. And it's crazy. I just had this conversation. He didn't call me when I got injured. So like when I just told you that story, he probably knows that he doesn't know that story in depth. Like to him, he knew. My mom told him, I'm lying. My mom told him, hey, your daughter got injured, basketball, she got cut, boom, boom, boom. He called me for like 5 minutes. I was like, keep your head up. But it was kind of weird because to me as a stranger telling me to keep my head up, that's kind of, you know what I'm saying? And I felt like he missed all the previous years where you could have told me, hey, tend to your ankle more, make sure when you're not at practice, you're still practicing, eat right. You know what I'm saying? Because you were a star athlete. But I don't fault him anymore. Like I'm not mad at him. I'm not hurt at all. How did you do that, though? Because I know a lot of people take that to their grave.
I think it was so much weight on me that the moment I finally gave him another chance and he failed again, I said, okay, I have to let you go. Kind of like how you do a breakup. Like after a while, I'm a Cancer, so I'll give you 100, not even 100 tries, like 100,000 tries. Mm-hmm. And on that 100,001, that you failed, that'll be my one time that I'm like, okay, you'll never get the same me again. So, it was one of those things where I wasn't hurt. I kind of tested him just to see if he would fail again. And he failed again. And I was like, okay, I got my answer. So now I can actually move on and live my life because I am really happy.
Help me understand the dynamic between a father and a daughter who are estranged, right? Because a lot of us, we often talk about girls having daddy issues. But
yes.
Men have daddy issues too.
They do.
That's why a lot of men behave the way that they behave. They have horrible relationships with their fathers. They have traumatic experiences with them and memories. And those memories are suppressed oftentimes. And they're unloading those memories and those experiences on the people that come into their lives, including their own children.
You're right.
Right? Mm-hmm. So oftentimes it's easy for us to connect it with the daughters, with the women, but with the men, we don't really think of it that way. And I know for me, in my situation, my daddy was a good dude, but he was an alcoholic, right? And so he could not be a really good father because of his addiction. So that was that experience. So I used that to fuel, I guess, my love for my children, because I was like, I'm not going to be that dude. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be that type of guy. For you, do you think along those lines of like having children and how you might treat your? Do you want to be a better example? Do you think like that, or do you think more so like your relationship with your mother?
I was going to say that. I don't ever relate anything in my adulthood life to him. I'm sorry, Willie. I don't even think about him. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, so for me...
he earned it, though. He earned that.
Yeah.
Like if he did that, if he made you feel a certain way and he didn't step up.
Right.
He earned that.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think the woman that I am today is all because of Tammy Roman. Mm-hmm. And even where I fall short at, she's always been there to just pick me back up. So anything with him, I really don't think about him like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Is your conscience clear though? Is it totally clear?
I think it is. I had this conversation, really deep conversation with my girlfriend of a year now, and I said, I think you missed my basketball years. So you're on my Instagram now. When I say you're, I mean him. And I'm like, I wonder why he's never reached out and said, wow, you have a girlfriend? Let's talk about this, because I feel like a dad's normal reaction is once your kid goes gay, especially if you're not in that kid's life, I'm like, does he think he takes any fault, or anything? Does he have any questions about this? And I said, it's kind of weird that he's never asked me about that, or like, hey, I'm kind of interested in this. Come talk to me. Let's go to lunch. He doesn't. He's like silent about everything that is a big deal in my life. So
perhaps he don't believe that he deserves, he has the right to.
That's a great point too. Someone else told me that too, which he doesn't. But I'm just kind of like, I wonder how he feels about it sometimes. I don't know.
Yeah.